the United States, UK, and France there essentially declined to confirm that the basic principles of international law about the inviolability of diplomatic and consular facilities, which are enshrined in the Vienna Conventions on this issue, apply equally to all states. And the outcome is now clear for everyone to see. You know very well that an attack against a diplomatic representation is a casus belli under international law. And if a Western representation had been hit, you would immediately have rained down reprisals and would argued that you were right about this in this very chamber. And this is because for you, everything that has to do with Western representations and Western citizens is sacred. It needs to be protected. But when it comes to other countries, their rights, including the right to self-defense, about their nationals, well, that's a different matter, as you like to say. What happens then is you activate your favorite argumentation about lack of information, you start doing legalistic hair splitting, etc. And today in the Security Council, we're witnessing is a display of hypocrisy and double standards, which it's almost embarrassing to watch.
This is my video update on this Monday morning, April the 15th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the UN Security Council meeting on Iran and Israel. And how about that Russian ambassador to the United Nations, Nebenzia? That guy's a rock star, man. He is fire, that guy. Wow. Nebenzia is on a roll, and he's 100% right in his statement to the United Nations Security Council. This could have all been avoided. This entire incident that has been unfolding over the past week could have all been avoided if the U.S. would have just condemned the embassy attack by Israel on the Iranian embassy in Syria. If the Biden White House would have just condemned it and said this wasn't right, you can't attack an embassy, this entire incident, the Iranian retaliation against Israel, all of this could have been avoided. Even Iran said to the United Nations, you know what? If you guys at the Security Council just condemn Israel's attack on our embassy in Syria, then we won't retaliate. But nope, the Biden White House couldn't do it. They couldn't bring themselves to condemn a deliberate attack on an embassy, which should be condemned. Doesn't matter if Israel conducts that attack. It doesn't matter if Russia conducts that attack. It doesn't matter if Greece conducts an attack, Malaysia, Indonesia, it doesn't matter. Turkey, it doesn't matter. An attack on an embassy is off limits. Those are the rules. Those are the freaking rules. And there are some analysts who are trying to justify it. Well, Iran was hiding some general, or they were planning some stuff, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Those are the rules. You cannot attack an embassy, deliberately attack an embassy. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Didn't John Wick? Didn't he say something like that? Or wasn't it in John Wick, I believe the first one, where they were at the hotel? I forgot the name of the hotel, where you're provided protection. If you go to this hotel, you have protection if you're one of these assassins. And I think the guy that was operating the hotel even said something like, you know, if you can't assassinate someone in the hotel. What are we if we don't have these rules? He said something like that. But even John Wick, the entire John Wick movie is based on the premise that when you're at these hotels, then you can't assassinate anybody. It's based on the premise that if you're at an embassy, you can't attack that embassy. Can you imagine if the U.S. decided to launch a missile at the embassy in the Ecuadorian embassy in London because Hillary Clinton wanted to take out Assange, which she's on record, according to WikiLeaks. Hillary Clinton is on record saying, why can't we just send a drone to take out Assange? And everyone was horrified at that meeting. They're like, well, you can't really do that, Hillary. But these are records that WikiLeaks put out. And I don't think they've been denied. But Hillary Clinton was like, let's just drone him. Horrible, horrific. And everyone was horrified, as they should be horrified at a statement like that. In the U.S. embassy in Moscow, they do host, or they were hosting. I mean, I know they were hosting people like Navalny or other people who are probably going to the embassy. Probably they go to the embassy and they have meetings with the U.S. Embassy officials or whoever's at the embassy in Moscow, and they're probably talking about regime change and stuff like that. They're probably discussing regime change of President Putin at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. No doubt that stuff like that is going on. But if you're the Russian authorities, you can't do anything, and vice versa. Who knows what the Russian embassy in the United States is talking about? I don't know. I'm just bringing up some examples. You can't touch an embassy. You can't touch an embassy. You can't touch a consulate. I grew up in embassies my whole life. Believe me, you can't touch an embassy or a consulate or the lawn in front of the embassy or whatever, or the tree next to the embassy, because I've heard all kinds of analysts trying to justify the attack. You can't do it. Anyway, the Biden White House, this all could have been avoided if they had just condemned the attack. That's it. That's simple. But they didn't. They couldn't find the courage, the strength to do it. And so now we're in this escalation. We're on this escalation escalator. So Iran's statement yesterday at the UN Security Council was very clear. They said that, speaking to the members of the UNSC, their representative said this is not an escalation. This retaliation was within international law. And he said that Iran responded proportionally to what was a deliberate attack on their embassy in Syria. Today's coffee is from the world famous Athens Shake and Bake Cafe. Anyway, here is what Iran's representative at the UN said. Iran's operation was entirely in the exercise of Iran's inherent right to self-defense, as outlined in Article 51 of the Charter of the United Nations and recognized by international law. This concluded action was necessary and proportionate. This concluded action. And that's the messaging that's coming out of Iran. We consider this whole incident over and done with. Israel hit our embassy. We retaliated by hitting military targets under international law. It was proportional to the attack on our embassy. It's over. This is an over and done, shut case incident. We don't want escalation. Let's move on. This morning, commercial flights in Iran resumed as well. So that's an indication that Iran would like to just put all of this behind them and get back to normal. Kirby, White House National Security Representative, spokesman of the State Department, whatever his title is. I don't even know what the guy's freaking title is, to be quite honest. Anyway, Kirby, I just called Kirby. He said that this was a win for Israel. He said that the fact that Israel managed to shoot down 990% of all the missiles is a win. And the Wall Street Journal, they came out with an article saying Israel repelled Iran's huge attack, but only with the help from the U.S. and Arab partners. That's fine. I mean, if the narrative, maybe they did, maybe the Israeli defenses and the U.S. defenses, the air defense systems, the Patriots, all that stuff, maybe it did shoot down 99% of everything Iran threw at them. I don't know. 99% seems kind of kind of very high. But whatever. You know what? Whatever. I think Big Surge put out a tweet, something along those lines, which was something like, if I don't have Big Surge's tweet, but if he watches this channel, maybe he can post it in the comments, a link. But he was like, look, if we have to say that Israel knocked down 99% of everything Iran threw at them in order to de-escalate and avoid a wider conflict, then fine. And I agree with that, fine. 99%, they shot down, all good. Patriots, good. Iron Dome, good. Let's de-escalate and not go to war. If that's what it takes to get that narrative across, that this was a huge defensive victory for Israel in order to avoid a wider war, I'll go with that. I will go with that. So Biden allegedly called, well, not allegedly, did call Netanyahu, allegedly tried to convince him not to retaliate. So Biden did call Bibi, and allegedly he tried to convince Bibi not to retaliate. And the rumor is that Netanyahu was ready to retaliate right away. He was ready to attack Iran right away. But then Bidenopolis called him and he told them, don't do it. Don't retaliate. Let's not escalate. This is according to various collective West media outlets. And even the G7 vassal states, even the G7 puppets, they came out with a statement and they said that they're going to use whatever power they have, whatever diplomatic channels they have to speak with Israeli officials and to convince Israel to not attack Iran, to not retaliate to the Iranian retaliation. So this should be over. This really should be over, but it's not. It's not over because the Biden White House, their messaging is still not strong enough. The Biden White House can still not put out a message that says, no, it is over. Capital O, capital V, capital E, capital R. It's over. Finito. Finito. Fin. They still can't get that message out there. They're using the mainstream media to get that message out there. Kirby is coming out and saying stuff like this was a victory. Israeli defenses are strong. The U.S. Patriot systems are incredible. They're awesome. But the Biden White House can still not come out with a statement from the president himself. The president should come out and say, no, we are not going to war with Iran under any circumstances. Israel must not retaliate. We are telling Israel, do not retaliate. This is over. We consider this whole situation over and done with. Any Israeli retaliation will mean that, I don't know, the U.S. is not going to approve an aid package, a weapons package. I don't know, something like that. But the Biden White House, they can't put that message out there yet. Maybe they will. The Biden White House, they're all about narrative control, but they just can't say things clearly. They love narrative control. They love the whole narrative and the scripts, but they just can't say something clearly in plain English. Just be clear about your message, man. I don't know. When I grew up in the U.S., I remember in the U.S., man, when people would tell you something, it was simple and it was clear, and you understood exactly where they were coming from. That's the U.S. that I remember growing up. Everyone was very straightforward, and the messaging was simple, and you understood exactly what they were getting at. This Biden White House, they're just creating narratives, but they just can't. No more. It's over. Anyway, Netanyahu held a meeting with his war cabinet the other day, and according to the New York Times, Israel is set to retaliate in the next 48 hours. And ABC News is reporting that Israel will decide on a specific type of response to the Iranian attack in the coming days. ABC News is citing Israel Defense Forces. So Netanyahu has decided, as I was talking about in my video update yesterday, to cash in some of those Biden blank checks, right? Biden has given Netanyahu a blank check to do whatever he wants, and Netanyahu continues to cash in those Biden bucks. Those Biden bucks. And here's what CNN is reporting. An hours-long Israeli war cabinet meeting ended Sunday night without a decision on how Israel will respond to Iran's attack. An Israeli official said the cabinet is determined to respond, but has yet to decide on the timing and scope. The official said the Israeli military has been tasked with coming up with additional options for a response. Separately, a senior Biden administration official told reporters that an Israeli official told the United States that it's not looking to significantly escalate the showdown with Iran. It's not looking to significantly escalate the showdown with Iran. Quote, I think Israel made clear to us they're not looking for a significant escalation with Iran. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking to protect themselves and defend themselves, the senior administration official said. They should not have hit the embassy in Syria. That's simple. So the question now is, how will Israel retaliate now that Netanyahu has come out and said the war cabinet is on record and they have decided that they will respond, retaliate, attack Iran? How will they retaliate, attack Iran? Retaliate/attack Iran. How will they do it? That is the question. What do you guys think? How will they do it? Let me throw out some options. Let's see. Maybe they strike at Iran, like a direct strike at Iran. Go after Iran's oil facilities, military facilities. I don't know. A direct strike against Iran, though that's going to be very, very difficult. But that's one option. Maybe they hit Iranian proxies in the region. Maybe they go after Hezbollah. Maybe they go after other proxies in Iraq or in Syria. That's another option. Another option is some sort of an assassination of an Iranian military official, like Soleimani or these types of attacks. That's something else that Israel may do, or maybe they go down the sanctions path, which is what Biden and the EU are hinting at. Ursula, in a speech she gave, she said, blah, 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 we condemn Iran, blah, 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 Iran bad, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of her statement, Ursula said, sanctions. That's what she said, sanctions. Our solution is sanctions against Iran and Iran's military industry and Iran's drone industry, and that was Ursula's statement. And the Biden White House has been hinting at the same thing. Sanctions against Iran. So that's a retaliation. That is a response. Can Netanyahu get away with that response? Can he go back to the war cabinet and say we've sanctioned Iranian drone manufacturing? I don't know. I don't think so, but who knows? Who knows? What do you guys think? What do you guys think Netanyahu is going to do? Let me know in the comments down below. But one thing is certain, at least in my opinion, one thing is certain: Israel cannot get into a big hot war with Iran. They can't do it. They cannot sustain it. I don't think the Biden White House can afford to. I know the Biden White House cannot afford to get into a big war with Iran. Too many wars for the Biden White House right now. Too many freaking wars. They cannot pull off another war with this time with Iran. They can't do it. They're having trouble with Yemen and Operation what is it, OPG, Operation Prosperity Guardian, or whatever Lloyd Austin called it. Whatever happened to Operation Prosperity Guardian? what happened to that? Or the EU? The EU, they called their operation in Yemen Aspida. I remember that because of Greek, the Greek word for shield. Whatever happened to those operations? They don't really talk about them much, do they? They can barely handle that operation. How are they going to handle Iran? And they're completely bogged down in Ukraine. But the neocons, boy oh boy, are the neocons. They are they are ready for war. Man, are they ready for war? Did you guys catch John Bolton's interview on CNN with Jake Tapper? He interviewed Bolton, and boy, Bolton was like, he was like creaming in his pants for a war with Iran. I mean, he was like when Harry met Sally, the restaurant scene with Meg Ryan, and that was that was John Bolton. Meg Ryan at the restaurant. You guys know the scene that I'm talking about. That was Bolton. He was like, "Oh my God, war, war with Iran. We're so close." John Bolton's like, "We're so close." He's saying that the Biden White House is embarrassing because they don't want to go into an all-out war with Iran. He's like, "This is embarrassing." John Bolton was telling Jake Tapper, "We can hit their oil, we can hit their communications, we can hit their military facilities, we can hit Tehran, we can hit it all." He's like, "We can hit it all. We should hit it all." These guys are crazy, man. I don't have any other word. I don't have any other word to describe their excitement. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. On the one hand, it's terrifying. On the other hand, it's cartoonish. Is that a good way of describing it? It's terrifying, but it's also cartoonish, the way the neocons talk about this stuff. Terrifying, tragic, disgusting, but also cartoonish. I don't know. Anyway, the tension that has now been created in Israel by Netanyahu about whether Israel is going to attack or how they're going to retaliate to Iran's retaliation. A lot of this tension may be about money. It's all about the money, money, money. Mike Johnson, he announced that he's going to put an aid package to the House so they can vote on it for Israel. So a lot of this tension. When will Israel attack? How will Israel attack? Will Israel attack? Will the Biden White House get Israel to not attack? Will this take us further up on the escalation escalator? Are we going to see a wider war in the Middle East? Is this going to break out into a world war? All this tension now that has been created, and Netanyahu going into the meeting with the war cabinet and coming out of that meeting and saying, "We've decided that within 48 hours, we're going to respond to Iran," could be all about securing a whole lot more money from Mike Johnson and the U.S. Congress. It could definitely be a part to all of this. This is definitely playing a part in everything that we're seeing unfolding with this entire saga. So Speaker Johnson, he's ready to present an Israel aid bill in the coming days. This is according to the New York Times. But Johnson left unclear whether the vote on a security package is going to have something in there for Project Ukraine. So we don't know if it's just going to be Israel, full Israel, or if he's going to try to sneak something in there for Project Ukraine. House representatives and the Republican Party understand the necessity of standing with Israel, Mr. Johnson said on Fox News, noting that he had previously advanced 2 aid bills to help the U.S. ally. "We're going to try again this week, and the details of the package are being put together," Right now, we're looking at the options and all these supplemental issues. So a lot of this could be about just securing a whole lot more money. Let's move on. Let's move on and talk about Ukraine. Let's talk about Project Ukraine. And the foreign minister of Ukraine, Mr. Kuleba, he said in an interview that Ukraine will stop hitting oil refineries in Russia if the collective West gives Ukraine Patriot batteries. We will stop hitting the oil refineries if you give us Patriots. That is what Kuleba said. He was asked about the comments from Lloyd Austin the other day, where he said Lloyd Austin told Congress that Ukraine needs to stop these pinprick attacks into Russia, which hit oil refineries. Austin said the U.S. is against this, and here is Kuleba's response. You need to think in your own interest, Kuleba told Rada TV. If your partners are saying, we are giving you 7 Patriot batteries, we have a request for you. Please don't do this and that. Then there is something to talk about. That is a direct quote of Kuleba. On the other hand, if no batteries, no aid package are being offered in connection with the entreaty, then there is nothing to talk about. Everyone survives as best they can, he added. Straight up blackmail from the foreign minister of Ukraine, huh? Oh man, they are in absolute panic mode. The Zelensky regime is in panic mode. Look, the Patriots, let's be honest. The Patriots, even if they were to get 7 Patriots, which the collective West does not have to give, or at least that's what they're saying. They're saying they don't have any Patriots to give. Then even if they were to give them, let's say they did find them, and they were to give the Patriots, as I said yesterday in my video, they can't stop the hypersonics, man. Can't stop it. So you can put those Patriots, say you put those Patriots around your energy infrastructure, your energy facilities. The Russians, they've shown that those hypersonics, they can hit anything they want. And with regards to the energy infrastructure, one of the directors at one of the energy companies in Ukraine said that the hypersonic missile that Russia launched against one of the facilities was so precise, he couldn't even believe it. His statement was something like it was within a meter of what it needed to hit. I mean, absolutely dead on precise to the meter. The Patriots aren't going to stop the hypersonics. So, you know, the whole Patriot system is, I don't know, maybe they want the Patriots to protect Zelensky and to protect their homes. I don't know, to protect their offices. I wouldn't doubt it. They want the Patriots to protect their office buildings and their homes, because they're afraid that maybe the Russians might send hypersonic missiles into those structures. I don't know, but this is straight up blackmail, huh? Straight up, man. Straight up from Kuleba. Oh boy, what else? So Kuleba, according to some reports, suggested to his collective West partners that Ukraine can lease Patriot systems. The idea was turned down by the other foreign ministers of the collective West. This was behind closed doors, where this rumor says that Kuleba talked about leasing the Patriot systems. We can lease them, yeah. You know, you guys got any Patriots that I could lease? I could borrow? I could borrow them. Just give them to me for a couple of weeks, and you know, I'll give it back. Yeah, you know. I lease Patriots all the time. Yeah, the leasing program of Patriots. Maybe the United States can lease the Patriots to Khalib. I don't know. They can lease them to Ukraine. I don't know if that stuff is done. But yeah, they're panicking, man. They are panicking. Oh my God. That guy was like right behind me, that parakeet. I heard something like eating away at the tree, and it was a little parakeet. All right. I hope I got that on video. Anyway, Pistorius, the German defense minister, he was giving a speech in Berlin on Wednesday at the launch of a book on Winston Churchill. And in this speech, he called Vladimir Putin the mustache man. He said Putin will not stop once the war against Ukraine is over, according to the German defense minister. Putin has made that clear. Pistorius continued, just as clearly as Hitler, who also always said that he would not stop. The German defense minister is calling the president of Russia the mustache man. Is there something very clown worldish about that? The German defense minister is calling the Russian president the mustache man. Pistorius. Shame on you, bro. Shame on you. Pistorius is just jealous. The German defense minister is just jealous because he's a vassal. He's a vassal puppet, and Putin is not. Putin is a sovereign man, and Pistorius is not a sovereign man. And if you're a man and you don't have your sovereignty, then you become very jealous of men who do have their sovereignty. So it's just jealousy from Pistorius. That's it. Let's do a clown world and wrap this video up. So sticking with Germany, Pirate Scholz traveled to China. Pirate Scholz sailed to China. Arrgh, we're going to go to China, matey. Pirate Scholz flew to China, and he was greeted at the airport with his delegation of business officials. He was greeted at the airport in China. This is the Chancellor of Germany. He was greeted by the vice mayor of Chongqing. The vice mayor, not the mayor, not the mayor. I guess the vice mayor, not the mayor, not the, I don't know, the governor or the foreign minister or the vice president or, I don't know, the finance minister, the interior minister. I don't know. He was greeted by the vice mayor. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, China's ambassador to Germany was also at the airport to greet Scholz. China greets leaders. They greet leaders that visit China with their leaders at the airport. So when Putin visits, he gets greeted by Xi Jinping. When Lavrov visits, he gets greeted by Wang Yi, the foreign minister of China. But when the Chancellor of Germany visits, he's greeted by the vice mayor. The vice mayor probably was like, man, I gotta go to the airport and greet this clown. Oh boy. The foreign ministry office in China probably sent a message to the vice mayor and said, hey, you've got to go to the airport and meet Pirate Scholz. The vice mayor was probably like, bro, come on, man, really? Can I send the vice to the vice mayor? Oh, boy. Can't I just send an Uber or something to pick him up? Like a placard, Chancellor Scholz. Like Scholz gets to the airport and he's like looking around to see who's picking him up. And there's, just like an Uber with like a placard that says Pirate Scholz. Oh, man. Pirate Scholz. So the Sun, the UK Sun, they put out an article the other day. Let me get in the shade here so I can read this. They put out an article, Big Bang Strike, Storm Shadows, Sea Drones, and new F-16s, Ukraine's 100-day plot to finally destroy Vlad's 3 billion pound bridge and cut off the war machine. The UK Sun. Oh, the UK Sun. Let's see, they have maps and arrows and planes and little fire emojis or fire GIFs, images, PNGs, whatever. Oh boy, let's see what they say here. Blitzing Putin's monster. How Ukraine could take down Crimea's 3 billion Kerch Bridge. Step 1, Ukraine unleashes waves of fighter jet launched Storm Shadow missiles. Dodging Russian air defenses, they strike its upper structure. Flotilla of large bomb-loaded drone boats reach foundation and detonate. The weakened bridge tears apart in explosion and crumbles into the water. Battle for Crimea, 10 years on, and the fate of the war rests on Ukraine's retaking Crimea. Experts say Phase 1, Ukraine isolates Crimea by cutting off land bridges. Phase 2, Ukraine blitzes Russian military HQs, logistic airfields, naval bases. Phase 3, waves of attacks continue until Crimea becomes untenable. Phase 4, Russian forces driven out and Putin's troops in South mainland Ukraine retreats. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know about this. I wonder if Zelensky saw this report. Podolyak, you see this report in Sun. Maybe we do counteroffensive like this, eh? What do you think, Podolyak? What do the parakeets think? Maybe we can do 2025 offensive like Sun say. We send Storm Shadows and Flotilla and Tortilla and we send a military cut bridge, land bridge, and Russian military run away, and I victory. What do you think, Podolyak? Yeah, boy. Oh, boy. Fixated on Crimea. I've been saying this for a while now, huh? It's all about Crimea. They've created this connection between Putin and the bridge. Putin and the bridge. That's the connection they've created. Everything hinges on Crimea. The Crimea Bridge. Not even Crimea, the Crimea Bridge. That's desperation. That's panic. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop, pick up some limited edition merch. The link is in the description box down below. Subscribe to this channel, like this channel, YouTube, Rumble. That's it for today. Take care.